be said that photography is about stark contrasts, whether it's color schemes, textures, or storytelling. To capture an image that tells the tale of survival against all odds is the challenge our photographers will face today. The semi-finals are a stage of the competition where our judges expect nothing short of 100%. Welcome to the first semi-finals of Nat Geo COVERSHOT Maximum City. Previously on Nat Geo COVERSHOT Maximum City, 16 COVERSHOT aspirants battled it out frame by frame in the preliminary challenges. From capturing Mumbai's phenomenal Ganesh Visarjan to reviving the traditional sports of Malkham and Akhada Kushti. From encapsulating the colourful chaos of Mumbai's busiest bazaars to soaking in the spiritual serenity at two houses of faith. Conquering all sorts of hurdles, only the strongest contenders left a lasting impression on judges Samar Singh Jodha and Abhinay Deo. In the quarterfinals, the photographers tried to essay the tales of a few of Mumbai's unsung heroes, while the wildcard challenge gave one eliminated photographer a chance to get back into the game.
Sajad takes you straight into the semi-finals.
Today, in the first round of the semi-finals, the top 5 photographers of the season locked lenses in their effort to inch closer to the grand prize. The rare chance of having their work featured on the cover of National Geographic Traveller magazine, India. Today, only the top 5 remain in the competition. Congratulations and welcome.
Thank
you. You are in the first round of the semi-finals. So, photographers, we have a third judge that will be reviewing your performance. He's a well-respected cinematographer, well known for his technical expertise, and his dramatic, evocative frames are his forte. Cinematographer Hemant Chaturvedi. Critically acclaimed cinematographer Hemant Chaturvedi has worked on films like Company, Maqbool and Qurban, and is known for his great sense of cinematic realism. Honor to have you here.
Ooh, nice.
So Hemant, what do you expect from these 5 photographers?
It'll be interesting to see how you followed the theme that you've been given, and whichever world you've been sent to, what is it that attracted you to that little cross-section of the world that you've captured? Extracting from a situation what's the best.
So in this challenge, we're taking you to one of Mumbai's most interesting locales. It's every visual storyteller's delight. Mumbai's shadow city, Dharavi. Now all that's left to do is assign you a subject. So let's start with Ambreen. Who have you got?
I've got an idol painter.
Siddharth?
Drummer.
I'll be shooting a Austrian rules football player.
Sajad?
B-boying dancer.
Anushri? A girl football player.
So the challenge is, I need 3 images. Number 1 is a portrait. Number 2 is going to be the environment they come from. And number 3, what makes them unique.
The caption for your challenge would be the hidden gems of Dharavi. Dharavi is a place, it's loaded with textures, smells, and the kind of people, the diversity, everything. Bring that small piece of the world through your eyes, and that's what we're looking for. Let's bring up the inspirational image.
What we are looking here is a portrait with the environment in the background. There's architecture, there's history. These are the elements what makes a picture which tells a story, and you need to bring that out.
Photographers, you have 4 hours for this challenge. Go for it. Good luck.
I'm going to Dharavi, where we have to, work on these personalities who really made a living out of the area, which is also known as Asia's largest slum.
I've heard a lot about this place, and it's actually a photographer's dream.
I had to meet Blessy, the girl. She is the part of the football team, girls' football team.
I've been to Dharavi many times and I've just went around shooting on the street. So it was a really nice opportunity for me.
Each of us got different genres of, some got sports, some got dance, some got sculpting. So I got b-boying.
Mumbai's shadow city, as Dharavi is known, is barely 2/3 the size of Manhattan's famous Central Park. Amidst this mammoth maze of tiny homes and workshops lie tales of survival. Tales of battling impossible circumstances and yet managing to thrive against all odds.
So this is my little friend Asif, whom I'll be spending time with, and I'll be capturing his story.
Hey Shivam, hi. I am Sajad.
I'm Shivam.
Nice to meet you.
Hi. Good to see you. Yeah. मैं गूगल पे सर्च किया था तेरे बारे में, तो न्यूज़ पे आर्टिकल मिल गया। अच्छा। तू देख के समझा था, तू फेमस है बहुत। तो तू ये भी है ना, कैप्टन भी है ना?
हाँ, महाराष्ट्र टीम का मैं कैप्टन हूँ।
He has inspired me, like he's representing India worldwide, so that's a very big deal for me. He's of my age after all, and he's at that level like which I'm not. So I think he's a real gem in Dharavi.
Blessy कुठे राहते? Hello. We are late हो गया. Oh God, it's scary. Well, when I had to actually go to their house, I had to actually climb the stairs. It was really difficult, and I had to hold on to the rope and climb. I was like, how do these girls manage? Blessy is so damn very energetic. Looks like right now she's shy. I hope to bond with her more. Come. I hope to bond with her more. And I hope to really connect to her and get to know more about her life. Yes, we do, right?
Having comfortably broken the ice with their subjects, the semi-finalists are now getting to know more about their assigned hidden gems.
तो आसिफ बता रहा था, इसको अपने आप जो ड्रम बजाता है, इसने किसी से सीखा नहीं है। अपने आप सीखा। I actually connected with him when I got to know that he has not learnt this drumming thing from anywhere. So I connected with him because I have learned photography by my own.
The initial reaction when I went to his house was actually, it was kind of a strange thing because it was kind of a different thing for me. I had never been to such small places. ये आपके भाई है?
जी बुआ का लड़का है।
अच्छा, और ये आपके?
मेरे डैड है।
Okay, nice to meet you. There were so many interesting things. Like there was this door and उसने अपने घर के डोर के बाहर ही लिख दिया है बी बॉय, और उसके घर में मैंने देखा there were goggles and different kinds of caps also there. जो वो देखता है वो शीशे में बार-बार अपने बाल ठीक करता है, तो these things I kept in my mind to just get the kind of environment he lives in.
While wildcard entry Sajad tries to get under the skin of Shivam, in another part of Dharavi, Ambreen is sussing out her colourful canvas.
I think I got my subject, and he's really sweet, and I hope I can, really do justice to the beautiful work. The reason why I chose Mr. Survey as my subject is because he's very interesting. He seems to have a lot of experience. He has great personality, yaar. He's got this focus on his work, which is so beautiful to see.
Clearly smitten by the sculpture, Ambreen, who has had a stellar performance in the quarterfinals, seems to be sailing through this challenge as well. But little does she know that she's about to hit a massive roadblock.
There's a slight thing that he is not your subject.
What? Obviously, I was really nervous because when you realize there are two different people now that you're going to be working with.
My first question to you, does any of the images, does it tell me a story about a football player?
Listen, there's a slight thing that he is not your subject.
What?
Like your subject is him.
But I've been shooting him for so long.
That's okay, but you have chosen him, right? But the subject is him. Whatever time you are left with, you have to shoot with him. You have to take all the 3 pictures with him.
But I already got such good photos with him. This gentleman, I chose him and I chose him as my subject. But the format of the theme was such that I was supposed to be assigned a subject. So we found out after an hour that, you know, my subject that he was been chosen for me is actually somebody else. That affected my mental process a lot, and that was something that I had to really cope up with, you know, in whatever time frame that I had.
While the others chose to stick to their assigned subjects, Ambreen took the liberty to choose the sculptor over the idol painter, a decision that backfired terribly. Meanwhile, Sumaid is taking time to understand the sport his subject excels in.
ये जो है founder है Lincoln.
उसका पूरा टीम जो सिखाता है.
Till the time I met Mayur, like I was thinking Australian football is just another name for rugby. He explained to me like what everything is and how the rules work, and I found out that the sport is completely different. He actually broke his like teeth and elbow and knee and stuff while playing the game. He's representing India worldwide, so that's a really big deal. I just want to take his portrait with his family in his house with this jacket. I was trying to go as far as possible, you know, from him, but the place was just too small, you know. So I've got a picture of Mayur with his blazer. So my one picture is done. Now he's packing his bag right now and will be going to Dadar Shivaji Park, where he practices every day.
Having packed in his first image already, Sumaid is setting off to his next location to capture his sports champ in action. Also having been assigned to a sports genius is Anushri, who seems to be investing far too much time in getting to understand Blessy instead of actually shooting with her.
You like Messi? Oh my God, क्या cute है ना वो, बाप रे. I don't think I was wasting any time there, you know, by, you know, staying for too long at Blessy's place. Well, what I wanted to do was first to get to know Blessy very well, and then only I wanted to go ahead and, you know, shoot. Give me that confident smile, yes. I have made it to the semi-finals and we are 5 of us now. The competition has gone so tough. Now I want to make sure that I have good pictures and I get good reviews, and I am going to make it to the final.
Anushri, who scraped through the eliminations in the quarterfinals, is giving this challenge her all. A few lanes away is Ambreen, who is still reeling from the initial setback of choosing the wrong subject.
Obviously, I was really nervous because when you realize that, you know, there are two different people now that you're going to be working with. One, you've got to shut that thought process completely. You can't think about him at all. You've got to start thinking about the new guy. Obviously, there's like a lot of tension and a great amount of pressure. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm really confused and a little panicky.
Will Ambreen be able to pull herself together and get back in the game? Meanwhile, Sajjad, who has reclaimed his spot in the competition through his wildcard entry, doesn't seem as enthusiastic as he did earlier.
पोज नहीं देना है, जैसे तुम जैसे खड़े होते हो ना वैसे रहो. Wild card entry got me into the semi-finals. The judges have put their faith into me, so it's a sort of responsibility. I was trying to get a shot, but so many things were distracting also because it was packed house. I didn't want my frame to be disturbed by those external things. So I tried to focus on the subject.
3 things to remember when you do a cover shot. Number 1, don't have too many elements in your picture because cover shot should be a very direct message. It should be with least amount of confusion. Whatever your subject is needs to come across. Number 2, shoot a vertical, don't shoot a horizontal. Otherwise, what you're gonna do is on the editing table, you're trying to crop it. When you're there, do the right thing. Point number 3, to make a high quality cover image, you need to make sure there's good color, there's good contrast and good saturation.
Meanwhile, IT engineer Siddharth has chanced upon his drummer boy subject's unusual practice routine.
Their mom had served everyone lunch, but you know, Asif was waiting, and in the meantime, what he was doing was he was practicing drumming on his plate. So that is what I have captured over here. अभी हम जहाँ पे तो drum बजाता है, वो देखेंगे सारे. आसिफ, 2 वो sticks खोज, नीचे से sticks. एक तो ये रही. एक और ले, एक और.
पिक्चर ले रही, मजाक कर रहे भाई लोग.
ये दो चलेगा?
हाँ.
ये दो. चलना. I want him to, you know, I'm just seeing how well he can play with this mug. इस तरफ.
Siddharth, who seemed enamored with Asif earlier, now seems to be treading a thin line as he choreographs his subject's actions.
ऊपर, थोड़ी सी ऊपर कर लो.
Is it the desperation of wanting to ace the semi-finals which is causing Siddharth to dangerously break the rules by staging his captures? At the same time, Sumed, having finished his shoot at Mayur's house, is now headed back to Shivaji Park to catch his hidden gem on the field in some Australian footballing action.
We've reached Shivaji Park now. Right now, I'm concentrating more on him playing Australian football. I'll try to get some silhouettes, you know, I'll just try to experiment with some lights. I'll go close, I'll use a telly, I'll shoot from far, you know, I'll just experiment with whatever stuff I can get right now.
Completely focused, Sumed is jumping right into the action. In a stark contrast, Anushri chooses a diametrically opposite approach, that of capturing a hidden gem while keeping a safe distance.
They were playing, they were right in the game, and I didn't want to disturb their game. And I don't want to hurt myself for the camera, so I am trying to stay far. Not semi-final fever, I was actually trying a low angle, that's all. You know what? I'll do what I do on the field. I'm going to keep the camera down. I don't lie down.
Our 5 semi-finalist photographers have managed to impress our judges so far, but as we get closer to the iconic yellow window, the judging parameters will only get tougher. So as we hit the halftime mark, have our photographers got those iconic evocative images?
I have finally reached the spot where Shivam does his b-boying. Shivam, he was wearing a cap and there was written funky, and he was wearing a chain and locket, and he had his name written in it. And then I thought that these are my clues which I can use in my portrait.
At the Sion Fort, Sajjad is clearly pushing himself to make the absolute best of his second innings in this competition. Back in Dharavi, Ambreen, who has consistently managed to impress the judges, has been off her game in this decisive challenge. Having lost crucial time, she's now doing all that she can to reclaim her chance at the iconic yellow window.
The change of subject was, in a way, an eye-opener for me because there was nothing that I could have possibly pre-visualized so fast. At that point, I was just trying to go with the flow and shoot a hell of a lot. Going to his house and meeting his family kind of helped me relax. And from then on, I was just trying to focus on him as a person and, you know, portray his personality. I am still looking for a good environmental portrait of him over here. Because he's limited to this area, I am also limited to this area. So I'm just trying to figure out different ways of juxtaposing him with this area. The environmental portrait is probably my biggest challenge.
Umbreen is trying to bounce back, but with very little time left at her disposal, let's hope the lights don't go out on her. Another semi-finalist who seems rather disoriented is Anushri.
Portrait-wise, it was fine. Shooting in the house, it was fine. Shooting her in between with her friends and, you know, with the football was fine. But how do I tell a story of the girl playing a football without actually, you know, showing her in action? I was really finding it difficult. I still don't know if I have the shot.
Capturing the hidden gems of Dharavi in their most iconic moments has been the clear brief for this semi-final challenge. But Siddharth seems to be making his pictures instead of taking them.
I'm just trying something here different because the caption of the challenge is hidden gems. So I just want to show some parts of, you know, these artists playing the drums. हाँ. तू इसमें से देख. I don't know if the judges will like it or not, but I really enjoyed my time making this picture.
I would have really preferred the pictures talking more than you.
Welcome back to Nat Geo COVERSHOT Maximum City. We're in the midst of our first semi-final and our 5 photographers have been scattered all over Mumbai's famous Dharavi area. But before we get back to them, here are some tips to bring out the photographer in you.
Typically, when you do pictures on your smartphone cameras, you end up with a regular kind of a format. Now, you want to capture the environment around you, you're going to go on a panoramic format within your camera here.
तो थोड़ी सी नीचे आ थोड़ी सी 1 2 3 I really like this picture a lot since all these kids are looking very happy and that's what makes me happy. I don't know if the judges will like it or not, but I really enjoyed my time.
While Siddharth continues to tread his treacherous path of staging his images, for the other semi-finalist Sumed, his meticulous plan for the day seems to be paying off.
As of now, I've got my portrait. My second picture, I've got variety. And right now, I'm concentrating on the third picture. I think I've got my last picture. I'm really happy with what I've shot. I hope it's good enough to impress the judges.
Meanwhile, at the Sion Fort, Sajjad is in the very midst of some b-boying action.
I was trying to just get some background effects over here, but I just experimented only a little bit. So I'll see later on what the results are.
Being a fierce survivor himself, Sajjad seems to be pushing every limit to essay the tale of his spirited subject. At the same time, battling for her survival in the competition is Ambreen.
It was hard not to be too literal because he was painting, and I have plenty of photographs of him painting. I mean, that's his job. But I have to interpret that in a different way. I was, panicking a little by that time. I was like, I still don't have something very strong. At the workshop, I got a few interesting images towards the end of the shoot. Even, regardless of whether or not the judges like it, as a photographer, personally, I like that image.
The judges have usually liked Ambreen's unique interpretations, but with the first half of the challenge being such a mess, will she be able to deliver her magic today? In the last few minutes of the challenge, Siddharth is still shooting and still staging.
मेरे को बस 5-10 मिनट के लिए चाहिए। आसिफ, तू मेरा कैमरा पकड़। हम अभी चलते हैं जहाँ पे तेरी फोटो खींचेंगे, ठीक है? तेरे को ना ये ऐसे पकड़ के, जैसे तेरे को बोलूँगा ना वैसे करियो। यहाँ पे रख हाथ। I did not want to associate with any kind of stress. I just wanted to be myself and try to do something different with every image that I'll be making today. आसिफ, उस तरफ देखिए।
In a bid to outshine his prior performance, he's consistently ignoring one of the ground rules of documentary photography. 5 semi-finalist photographers, 5 extremely interesting subjects that have managed to flourish amidst the squalor of Dharavi. Only one will advance to the next level, and the time is almost up.
I'm done with the challenge finally. I'm really exhausted, but I've got some good shots of Shubham.
I've got all the 3 pictures and I'm happy with the pictures. I hope judges like my pictures and I somehow qualify for the final round.
I think this was by far the most challenging task I've done.
Hopefully the judges will like the pictures that I've made today. I've tried like some different concepts today, and so it's time to choose the pictures now.
I have really tried and worked hard a lot to be in the semi-finals. I'm just scared. I don't want to be eliminated, that's all.
So, photographers, now as you know, for this particular challenge, we also have a guest judge, renowned cinematographer Hemant Chaturvedi, who will also be critiquing your work. Let's take a look at your images. Let's start with Sumed.
In the portrait, I wanted to show his environment, where he comes from, his family and everything. And I asked him to wear India's blazer, which says that, he represents India internationally. So I wanted to bring that part out as well. I really like that moment where he was like asking everybody to cheer up and get ready for the match. I really like that moment. I really like that moment when he was like carrying the ball. He was really happy and he was going to score. So I wanted to go wide and I wanted to go close in his moment, and that's what I did.
You have understood the brief really well, and what I really love about this image is this pride he has, and he feels like it's like an honor. And more than him, those parents, they're just looking up to their son who's like, God basically. And I think that has been so cleverly, captured just at the right moment. So there are a lot of messages, a lot of layers which really work for me. The second one, what I like about this image is that it is not a setup, and none of them are looking at your camera, and you manage to get the spirit of the game. It's all the screaming and that blue sky, and it almost looks like you've lit up the entire thing. Third one, please. I think what you have caught is the energy of the sport and the energy of also Mumbai in the backdrop. I think that's very cleverly done. So great.
Thank you.
Each photograph has the most perfect moment of expression that I've seen in a long time in a series of 3 pictures. I love this portrait, absolutely. You know, at this point, the juxtaposition of the two, where they're looking up at him with pride and he's the man of the moment. Second image, the colors are fantastic, sky is fantastic, expressions are great, composition is great. I like the moment that camera has clicked, it's been absolutely perfect. Third image, I always love photographs that make you move with the photograph. I think that is also a great achievement to get movement within a still photograph. Yeah, I think you've got 3 absolutely great pictures.
Thank you very much.
Up next, Ambreen.
That is my first photograph. It's my portrait of him. He begins his day with a little prayer, and he believes that if you don't have faith yourself, that doesn't come out in the detailing on the idol. My second photograph, that's at his home. He's very much a family man. That was his nephew who was all over the place and full of energy. It's my environmental portrait. My third photograph, the idea was to sort of bring in the creator and the created together in this last photograph that defines who he is.
First of all, Ambreen, I have to tell you that I would have really preferred the pictures talking more than you. The reason being that none of the pictures tell me that he's the idol painter. I'm actually getting a guy standing looking at one of the idols in a plethora of, different idols. So maybe he's a guy who's come to buy, So I don't get it. It's a set-up ghostly image as opposed to a natural environment that he lives in.
Moved a piece of glass to make your frame. This is documentary work. This is not commercial work.
Unfortunately for you, the journey ends here.
I'm actually getting a guy standing looking at one of the idols in a plethora of, different idols. So maybe he's a guy who's come to buy, So I don't get it. Second image, I don't even want to talk about. It's a disaster. The third image, I like the composition of the image, but what's he doing? I don't know, I seem to have a lot of problems with it. Like all 3 guys, one is drinking water, one is looking at an image, the other guy at the back over there is also looking at one of the murtis. So I really don't get it. First image, please. I really like this picture. Okay, I like the straight lines, the quirky composition, the red light, and him in the mirror. It's a nice photograph. And the second one, I see the house and the space quite nicely. The depth that you managed to create, you made a small space look a lot larger. And now the third picture. Nice composition, nice depth of field, nice choice of lens, nice choice of aperture. Again, a nice photograph, no doubt about it.
Up next, we have Anushri.
This is my first picture, this is my second picture, and this is my third picture. I met Blessy at her home in Dharavi, and what I found out about her was that she's a very young, enthusiastic girl, and she's very determined and focused. While I was on the field, capturing, I really found this very nice moment where she's, engaging with her friends, and, that's why I thought of putting this, wanting to show her on the field where she connects with her friends of the, most of the time.
The trouble I have with this image, there's just too much of negative space. This shadow on her face is not really adding to the portrait. Image 2, please. You've got the canvas there, with all the stuff going on. Yes, it is home and all that, but it's a very dull engagement. Third one, please. Great environment, you've got everything, the water bottles, it's a school field, all that stuff. But you could have introduced a ball there anywhere.
Hemant?
I know you were trying really hard with this frame to get an interesting shaft of light on her face and so on, but I would have moved her here, okay? Exposed for the shadow, okay? This would have pumped up a lot more. That would have burnt, you'd have got more detail on the lady. The shaft would have been a burnout on the side, and she would look really nice. Then the next image, please. What I do really like about this image is the mood.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
you've got exactly the right moment. It's a nice atmosphere. I like this image. But when you do a series that is on a theme, at least one of those photographs should illustrate the theme. Third image, please. I love photographs that have an atmosphere, okay? And this is a lovely atmosphere. I have no issues with that left side. I like slightly offset frames. It does balance with the Wadley painting on the wall. The bottles are fine. This photograph would have been great had one of the earlier two had reference to football.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sajad.
This is my first image, and I considered this as a portrait. I wanted to try something different so that I can reveal the identity of a person without showing his face. So this was actually the b-boying thing which he does. There was a challenge to shoot this because it's different from the normal dance. So I asked him to do that, and then he did, and I clicked this picture. He's a very sweet kind of a boy who doesn't have any external kind of exposure. So it was just a normal portrait, but in the backdrop of the Dharavi.
First image, please. I think it's a fantastic portrait. I'll tell you why, because he's a rebel on one level. I personally feel that he's saying to the camera, to the audience, that I actually am someone and I love something that you don't get it, tomorrow you will get it one day. Second image, very, very strong image. I love the fact that the roughness on the wall, the frame within a frame within a frame, fantastic. And the third image just flips it around and shows me an innocence in his face. The expression in his eyes is just outstanding. I'm extremely glad that you came in the wildcard entry. So well done, Sajad, well done.
Hemant?
The first one is great. Second image, I love movement is continuous, even though it's a still photograph. The composition, the leading lines, everything works absolutely perfectly. And the third image, this is an excellent example of color, composition, lensing, available light, expression, mood, absolutely bang on. So very, very, very good work, absolutely very good work.
Last but not least, Siddharth.
I had this, big opportunity to capture the story of Asif. He was a big dreamer and a drummer. The first portrait that I shot, he has this vision that he's unaware of, what's going around him. Like, he's in his dreams. His dreams were so big, he told me, I want to work so hard. And someday, I'm hopeful that some music directors will come look for me and will identify my talent. His mom was actually preparing food for him, and in the meantime, he does not own, drums equipment with himself. So when he's at his home, he is normally practicing with the utensils and all. So that was his story.
Instinctive reaction to this is not getting it the first time you see it. Okay, when you have to pay more attention and be drawn into what's going on, I think that is a sign of a really, really good photograph. And that layer of glass with the water on it, it works perfectly. This one's absolutely outstanding. Can we go to the second one? It's almost as though he's being hunted down, or it's a set up ghostly image as opposed to a natural environment that he lives in. And the third image, please. I would have wanted to see more of the environment. Like the first one is complex and draws you in, this one doesn't draw you in because you're not seeing enough of the environment that he's in. I absolutely love the first image. Did you stage this?
Like to some extent. Because I wanted to capture some dreamy thing. So wanted to get that feel in this picture.
Okay, so second image, please. The hands, they were staged, right?
His friends were, they were excited and I captured that moment.
So you asked them to. The staging of the hands and the fact that you had to explain so much about it kills it. Third image, well, it's good, it's very nice, but again, it's not something that's going to cut it in the semi-finals.
Like some clarity on the first one. What kind of setup was it?
I had this idea in my mind, like, you know, what I want to capture in this portrait. So I had to borrow a glass.
Wow, okay. Then you need to do advertising. This is not for Nat Geo Traveler. And I'm glad you were honest about it. You know, that's very good. But you need to understand, this is different stuff we are talking about. You know, this is talking about purity. It is not about setting up.
So, photographers, you've presented your images to the judges. You've heard what they've had to say. One of you will be going home, and the other 4 will move on to the next round of semi-finals. So, judges, have we made a decision?
Yes.
I think I was most impressed by Sumedh and Sajad's work. They largely understood the brief the best. They have technical expertise. They have the understanding of how to translate a thought into a picture, in which this entire event is about. And you're both extremely well matched at the moment. And I believe both of you have gone into the next round.
Congratulations, Sumedh. You are through to the second round of the semi-finals, and you're one step closer to the iconic yellow window. Sajad, congratulations. And you've proved to the judges that you deserve to be here, that they made the right choice.
Ambreen, your images, they were well composed. Technically, there was nothing wrong with the images, but I wouldn't have never would have understood exactly what did you do. I just felt you were plain, simple, lazy when it came to the subject. Having said all that, you're in to the next level.
Okay, thank you.
But this time around, you're in onto the next level does not mean that you were brilliant, but it does mean that somebody else was worse.
Congratulations, Ambreen. You barely through to the second round of the semi-finals.
Anushri, if you're going to miss the brief, you'll be fired from the job, because you cannot go to shoot an elephant and come back with a rabbit. It's a basic understanding, right? So that, as I said, that image was very powerful, but you know what you did? You're out of here. Because you do not set up images. It was such a powerful photograph when we saw it. But when we found out what actually went behind it, it just destroyed it totally.
Anushri, the fact that Siddharth is out means that you are in. Guess what? The second time on grace points.
Congratulations, Anushri. Remember, after this, there will be no more grace. Siddharth, unfortunately for you, the journey ends here.
I have to choose the image of the day. Between the two of you, I liked your portrait with the family very, very much. I also liked the boy standing in the alley very much. Simply, your image had a nice relationship between parents. The atmosphere of the room is excellent. But I'm going to give that image to him as the image of the day. Because he's managed to take a single person, put him in a single, there it is, in a single alley, and create an attitude and a vulnerability at the same time, which I think was really, really special.
Sajad, congratulations. Hemant, thank you so much for being a part of the show. It was absolutely a pleasure.
It was disappointing for me that I was not able to impress the judges, but I understand and respect the feedback that I got from judges.
With Siddharth losing his chance at the cover shot of National Geographic Traveller India, We've now come down to our top 4 photographers of the competition. Ambreen, Anushri, Sumed and Sujad have each realized just how tough the last few stages will be. And hopefully this will push them even harder to deliver those iconic images in the next semi-finals. Drawing from all their learnings in the journey so far, they shall engage in another demanding battle next time only on Nat Geo Cover Shot, Maximum City.